Hey guys, I'm Jim Carnicelli. I am the man behind Miami Revealed. This is the first time you're seeing me in front of the camera, and the reason for that is pretty straightforward. I've never really wanted to make this about me per se. I really have intended for Miami Revealed to be about exploring Miami, and also, frankly, at 48, I'm a fat old man. I don't look that great on camera. Miami is full of beautiful people and beautiful things to see, and I'm sure I'm the last thing that you want to see. But so far I've been surprisingly successful with the channel. I've gotten a lot more subscribers than I expected after about 6 months or so. I've gotten far more views than I expected in this short time. And a lot of you have questions. You ask me in the comments and otherwise some very specific questions about what life is like in Miami. And the truth is, when I go walking around and I show you things or I give you a little bit of a background on some project or something, I'm just giving you kind of big picture stuff, and that's all valuable. And I'm giving you a concrete look at a relatively small portion of Miami, namely the downtown area and a little bit beyond. But I can tell that a lot of you watching this are, you don't necessarily live in Miami and you're considering moving here. So see, just like me, before coming here and before starting this channel, of course, you've got a lot of questions. You want to know what it's like living here. You ask me questions about the safety of walking here at night, about what's the rent, what do I think about living in a certain part of town. And I thought, I'm not an expert in this stuff, and for the most part, I'm not even the first person to ask about this, but I do live here. I do have opinions as a person who lives here, and that's one thing I can give you, is I can tell you about my specific experience, and of course my wife's, Kira. Kira generally prefers even more privacy than I do in this regard, so you're not going to see a whole lot of her on this. But I thought, why don't I tell you about my specific experience? And to start with that, I should talk about where I live. This is an apartment called Monarc at Met. It's downtown here in Miami. It's about a block away from Biscayne Bay. It's off in that direction, just on opposite side of the pool deck behind me here. Biscayne Bay separates Miami Beach. I know a lot of you who are not from here don't necessarily know this, but Miami Beach is a whole separate city. Biscayne Bay is beautiful in its own right, but it's technically not the Atlantic Ocean, so I don't live on the ocean per se. I do live effectively on the water. But I thought it would be nice to tell you a little bit about what it's like to live as I do in our apartment unit. This is not our apartment. In Monarc at Met, what it's like living in this area, what it's like living in Miami, what it's like living in Florida. Obviously, my circumstances are not going to match yours. Everyone's got their own circumstances, but we can always draw some inspiration from people's particular cases and conditions. All right, so where am I? You probably can guess. Like I said, this is not my apartment. My apartment is up there. This is the 13th floor of Monarch. This is what's referred to as the amenities deck. Out there is the pool and a number of other things. I'll be giving a tour of that separately. In here is the lounge. It's a sizable space. I'm only showing you kind of a corner of it. There's a whole lot of nice things in here. I originally shot this intro video out there, but it's hot. In some ways, it's kind of laughable that Kira and I chose to live here in Miami, given how easily I sweat and how much I don't like being in the heat. If you're curious, I actually grew up in a little town called Lakeland here in Florida, right smack dab in the center of the state. And growing up in Lakeland, I knew exactly what it was like to deal with Florida's heat. And so I knew that moving to Miami was going to be hot here. I just took that for granted. But It's the 21st century. We have air conditioning. I work as a software engineer, so I get to work from home, which means spending most of my time indoors in our apartment. We've got a 2-bedroom apartment, so Kira and I both have our own separate offices. So we get to have a good measure of privacy in a nice, comfortable 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And we get a whole lot of very nice things, like this incredible lounge, like the pool deck. What I plan to do is, starting with this, I want to do a little sort of sub-series within Miami Revealed, talking a little bit about what life is like for us here at Monarch, here in Miami, here in Florida. Partly for those of you who are curious about living here, considering where to make your next big move, if any. I want to encourage you to ask me more questions. At some point I might consider doing a live show. I'm in no hurry. This is strange for me. I'm not used to appearing in front of the camera. But yeah, send the questions my way. Feel free to email them to me as well. If you go to miamirevealed.net, that's the homepage for this. You'll see you can email me from there. I'll tell you what it's like living here.